Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and I was always told how to voice the radio, and I've got a Japanese deck list to show you, but this is a little bit special, and a little bit different, and a lot fun. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I've been showing you Japanese lists lately, and several of you have said, not unfairly, not untruthfully, well, yeah, we'll see, but the deck list you keep showing us, they're sun and moon on. Because Japan haven't rotated with us, you're correct. Well, there has been a tournament over in Japan in our format, and the winner might surprise you. It is Alolan Persian Silvally. I know, right? Now, Silvally shouldn't surprise you at this stage. Silvally, when it comes out, is going to be at the centre of the format. It is phenomenal. The ability, once during your turn you may draw until you have 5 cards in hand. It's Octillery's ability. And it does 120 damage for 2 colourless energy as long as you've played a supporter. That does leave triple acceleration energy on the table as an option, but actually this deck, and stop me if you've heard this one before, chooses to play Welder to accelerate the energy. Cannot fault it. Welder seems like a pretty gosh darned good idea. Silvally is great. You're going to be seeing a lot of it. It shouldn't surprise you that it's made it into this deck. What maybe should surprise you a little bit is that our format has gone and seen success from Alolan Persian GX. Now, Alolan Persian GX isn't actually out yet. Alolan Persian GX will not actually be coming out until Cosmic Eclipse, but as soon as Cosmic Eclipse drops, this entire deck will be all kinds of legal. So what does Alolan Persian do then? Well, Alolan Persian's got an ability, Smug. This Pokemon doesn't receive any damage or effects from the attacks of your opponent's tag team, or Ultra Beasts, or Pokemon that have any special energy attached. Oh yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah, this is pretty gosh darn good. Now, if we have a look at the kind of Pokemon this is immune to, Mewtwo and Mew. Can't touch it. Reshiram and Charizard. Can't touch it. Blacephalon. Cannot touch it. And they're some of the very best Pokemon we've got around at the moment. Gardevoir and Sylveon. Cannot touch it. I mean, we just had a large regional championships over in Europe. It just happened in Sheffield. And if we have a look at the top decks from that, first place, Gardevoir and Sylveon can't touch it. Second place, Pikachu and Zekrom can't touch it. Third place was Oranguru Stool, which admittedly can, and I hate that deck. And then fourth place was Naganadel Blacephalon, which can't touch it. And in fact, the next deck whose main attacker could touch it was 16th place, which played a Giratina variation of Malamar. Now, it's not that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that easy, alright? Because even if we look at something like Pikachu and Zekrom, well, okay, they have lots of tag teams, but they also play Zera Aura GX, which can attack and can take you out. Having said that, they need 2 Electro Power to do so it's not exactly like they're going to be able to do so too easily. Possible, but it's going to be a little bit awkward. Of course, they don't play any Pokemon Recovery, so you take out that one Pokemon and, you know, you might be alright at that stage. Something like Mewtwo and Mew generally is going to be playing Latios GX, which will be able to attack you. It's a little bit of a pain, but unfortunately, they tend to play some non-tag teams. So yes, obviously, I understand that even the decks that you quote-unquote block out do often have options. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a great Pokemon, and it doesn't mean that it won't be able to do really, really good stuff. Now, the attacks on Alolan Persian aren't anything particularly special. 1 Darkness, 2 Colourless, 120. Or the GX attack, 120 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, doesn't have to be active. Not affected by weakness, resistance, or other effects. It's quite nice for going through stuff like Alolan Ninetales. But other than that, it's kind of a bit meh. But that's not the point here. The point is we've got Silvally as a really good draw engine, and then we've got Alolan Persian as a good attacker. Now, there are a couple of other Pokemon we need to be playing here, one of which is actually Alolan Persian. You see, we've actually got a really nice Alolan Persian, which is in the format at the moment. It's been out for a little while, in fact. It is the Alolan Persian that came out in Lost Thunder, and for no energy, it does 90 damage less 30 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Really nice for taking out stuff like Malamar, which is unlikely to have any energy on, or Jirachi, which is unlikely to have any energy on. Should get you a cheeky KO or two during the game. Now, the other big part of the deck we have here is Ninetales. And Ninetales really comes from, look, we're playing Fire Energy, which means that we can play Welder, and it also means that we can play this. It looks pretty gosh darn good to me. Outside of that, we got one Ditto Prism Star, because we're playing Stage 1s, why would you not? And one Dedenne GX, it gives you a little bit of early game consistency. Sounds like fun. Now, in terms of supporters, we've already talked about Welder. There isn't much else special, but this deck does play Professor Oak's setting. It lets you search for 3 basic Pokemon with different types and put them onto your bench. Well, here, Ninetales evolves from a fire Pokemon, Alolan Persian evolves from a darkness Pokemon, and Silvally evolves from a colourless Pokemon. Plus, you got Ditto, which is colourless. So, yeah, this is a phenomenal card. Don't use it for Dedenne, because it puts the cards directly onto your bench, and Dedenne does not get the ability if it goes straight onto the bench. That would be a very silly thing to do. Now, in terms of other stuff here, it's largely what you would expect. We've got 4 Pokegear 3.0 because finding supporters is important. Professor Oak setting in the early game. Welder in the any point in the game. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds pretty gosh darned important. And then, of course, we've got Cherish Ball as Pokemon Search and Pokemon Communication. Pokemon Communication swaps a Pokemon in your hand for one in your deck. Cherish Ball grabs you a GX Pokemon. It's the best we've got, so it's what we're playing here. Now, we do have Fire Crystal to grab Fire Energy from the discard pile, and Fiery Flint to grab it from the deck. You need it for Welder. You need it for Ninetales. So having these as options is incredibly strong. So you need to play them. Now, I'm not seeing a Heat Factory Prism Star here. You should definitely add that in, but it might be one of those cards that is glary to the point of not being particularly visible. But the stadium we are playing here is Chaos Vortex. Chaos Vortex is great. It basically says that when you play it down, it sits there, and if your opponent tries to play a stadium, it gets discarded without using its effect. Something like Power Plant will turn off your Silvally's ability here. That will be a very bad thing. This stops that being a concern. And then there's just a couple other things that we would expect. There's a U-turn board to help yourself out in terms of retreating. There is a reset stamp, because it forces your opponent to shuffle their hand into their deck, draw a new hand of cards equal to their remaining prizes. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely vital in the current format. Simple as that. It is an absolutely vital card that everyone needs to play because it's a comeback card. Simple as that. It's phenomenal. And then obviously Cynthia because it's an amazing draw supporter. I love this deck. It is legal in our format. Now we are waiting for Professor Oak setting and Alolan Persian GX. And Silvally will have to wait until Cosmic Eclipse, but as soon as Cosmic Eclipse drops, this entire deck will be completely legal, and it looks like it should be one of the very, very best decks in the format. I am very excited about this, and I think you should be excited about this. But I would like to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/TheWassy. patreon.com/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WossiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.